Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's Cypher Live is on automation, and to walk us through the many ways that automation can be used and the way it's fully integrated and all the different things you can do with it is we have Cypher's founder and CEO, Graham Glass, to walk us through everything. This is one of the most, so I've been in the learning space a really long time. I have to say Cypher's automation is pretty mind-blowing. It's very impressive, and I can't wait to show you. So with that, we're going to pass over to Graham, and he's going to show off everything it can do.
Great. Thank you so much, Caitlin. So thanks for the introduction. As she mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of CYPHER Learning. And this is actually one of the best parts of my job is to show off the product, put it through its paces. Just for a little background on myself, I'm a long-term educator. So I used to teach computer science at UT Dallas, which is where I got some K through 20 experience. Then I started a professional training company where I got my corporate L&D experience. So a lot of the functionality that I'm about to show you is based on my own personal experience of what it's like to actually teach people courses. And I want to give you first a little bit of background about why we did what we did with automation. And then I'm going to show you a lot of stuff. So in the very early days of the platform, there was a few individual points where we would say things like, if you add a new account, and if they're this type, then do X. So it's like a little if then else area, but it was a point solution. It wasn't generally applied throughout our platform. And then later on, we'd say, well, when you complete a course, do you give them a certificate or not? And if so, what certificate? That was like another point solution. What changed things for us was when we were working on gamification. So gamification is something which can be really powerful if it's done right. And there are some products that gamification is more of an afterthought, and you can just say, when you complete a course, you get a badge or not. But we decided we want our game system to have points and badges and levels, and you ought to be able to earn points and badges for doing almost anything anywhere in our system. And even when you go to a level of a game, we want to then be able to award you other things. So we realized that building a point solution was not going to cut it because there are so many places that you need as hooks to be able to determine when you get points and badges. So we took a step back and we said, let us build a generalized automation layer in our software. And then instead of having these point solutions, everything is going to work the same. So throughout our entire site, we want to be able to say, if X happens, do Y. So we did that for gamification, and then we realized, wow, you can use this everywhere in our platform. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of cases of automation and all various kind of use cases where you might want to use it. So I'm going to share my screen. And what you should be able to see now is just the dashboard in our platform. Now, I'm going to show you a few cases of automation, but I'm going to start by saying automation can be used by different stakeholders in different ways. So for example, if you're an administrator and you're setting up a site, there's a whole set of things that you can do to automation to automate onboarding and archiving of users and what happens if somebody's not active in the site. Those are more kind of admin-oriented ones. Or for example, in the case of e-commerce, if somebody abandons a shopping cart, then after 3 days, send them a certain message. That's more admin-oriented. Then there are people who are course designers. And when you design a course, you're thinking about how do you make the course really engaging? Maybe use gamification. Maybe when somebody enrolls, give them a warm welcome message. When they complete the course, give them a certificate, but also recommend other courses. Or if you want to stay in touch with people who have gone through live training, maybe when they complete the live training, put them into a social group. So those are cases for using automation for course designers. If you are managing groups, more social groups, not necessarily formal training ones, you might want to say when somebody joins a group, send them a welcome message. encourage them to interact with the rest of the group through gamification. So as you can tell, there are various different stakeholders, all of which can make their life easier by use of automation. So I'm going to guide you through a few cases now to show you generally how automation works. And I'm going to start with course designers, because we are a learning platform after all, so courses are a big focus for us. So here's a course called Gamifying E-Learning Courses. So this is, as you can tell, an attractive course. It is actually gamified. So you can see a little games tab here. And we're using automation to welcome users, award certificates of completion, give them points and badges as they progress through the course. So let me show you how it works. So when I administer the course, there's lots of areas that you can administer. Completion is one of them. So this is where you set up what happens when somebody completes a course. And some of these areas are out of the scope of this particular presentation, like do modules have to be completed in order? But you will see here completion actions. And it says here, add actions that should be performed when the course is completed. And this is the generalized architecture of automation. There's an area which says, here are the actions and when they're performed, and then you can click add to add more actions. So as you can see, we're saying, when you complete the course, I'm going to send you a CAN message, which is going to be a pop-up, and I'm going to give you 300 points for this particular game. And that's also going to be shown as a pop-up. So let's just say that I also want to give them a certificate of completion. So I'm going to say, add a new action. Now, one of the things that's really powerful about our automation is there are a lot of things that you can do as actions. So some of these actions are unique to being in a course. For example, you can lock and unlock modules of the course as one of the actions. If I click on awards, I can see I can give somebody some points in a game. I can give them a badge. I can give them a certificate. And I can also give them an e-commerce discount coupon. So we've got really nice e-commerce built into our system. And you might want to say, when you complete this course, I'm going to give you 30% off the next, more advanced version of the course. You can also do integration actions. So if you want to link our system to a different system and say, when you complete a course, invoke an API using a webhook, you can do that. And if you install message queues, you can send message queues through a corporate message queue system. So our platform is very strong when it comes to enterprise integration. We also have some other interesting options. So you can say, when you complete the course, automatically add you into a social group. And groups in our system, social groups, are a first-class entity, just like courses. So you can say, when you complete a course, put them into a group. Or if you want to build a chain reaction, like you have a learning path, and when you complete part 1, automatically put you into part 2, you can do that. You also have the ability to remove from a group if you want to. And then there's a whole host of other things you can do. So for example, we have tagging. So you can add a tag to a learner when they complete. And later on, you can do things like only show this course to people who are tagged with X. So there's a lot of automation and filtering can be done in terms of tags. You can remove tags. If you want to remind the user to complete a certain action, which says, hey, after your course, please, look at the catalog and pick your next course, you can add to-do items. And you can also send messages to them. So as you can tell, there are a lot of different things that you can do. And we're always thinking of cool additional actions that we can do. So in this case, I'm going to say, I want to give you a certificate of completion. Award the certificate. Now I can pick the certificate. So we have customizable certificates. So I'm going to give a certificate of completion. In this particular case, you can say, hey, you have to pass the course by 90%. I'm not going to do that. And then we can also give you a message when you get it. And that message can pop up to the user, which I recommend because that way they actually see it. And you can either send the can message, or you can send the custom message, or you can send them no message at all if you want it to be silent. Notice if you ever give custom messages in automation, there's tons of variables that you can put in your message. Like dear, I can put here, dear @user first name, and then it will say, hey, dear Graham, and then a nice little picture of the certificate. You got this certificate and why you got it. In this case, I'm going to stick with the can one. Last thing I'm going to mention, automation combined with filters is very powerful. So you can say, when a certain condition happens, perform a certain action, but only if, the user's state is California, something like that. And this filter can be based on if you're enrolled in a course, if you are part of a certain group, if you're in the sales organization, if your name begins with Graham. It's completely up to you, but this gives it a whole nother level of expressive power. So I'm actually gonna not have a filter for this particular one. So I'm going to save this. So now you can see when they complete the course, they are going to get this particular certificate as a pop-up. And you can always remove automation actions, or you can click edit and change their configuration. So that's how easy it is to do something fairly simple, like, you completed the course, but let's go a lot deeper than that. So in this particular course, we have a game, for example, Mastering e-learning. And it's a fun game. So there's lots of different levels. So when you get to level 1, you're in the player's playground, points pursuit, challenger chamber, quest creator, gamification guru. So these are the levels of the game. And then as they achieve each particular level, we've used automation to set up actions. Like when you get to level 1, which is 200 points, then I'm going to send you a message which says, hey, congratulations, you've reached a certain level. And I'm going to give you a badge. So I've created some custom badges for what people get awarded. And they're customized for this particular game. So not only can you use automation to give the points, but you can also use automation to specify what happens. And gamification works really well. And you can do things like when you get to level 3, I'm going to give you a 10% off coupon for the next version of the course. And if you get to level 5, I'm going to give you a 30% off or a 40% off. So if you use your imagination, there's a lot of fun things that you can do. And here's a summary of how you get points. There's a little leaderboard for the game. But wait, there is more. So, like if I was building a course, when somebody joins the course, I want to give them a little welcome message. So I'm going to say admin enrollment. So these are actions that you can take when you enroll someone. There are actions you can take when you are unenrolled. Actions you can take if somebody is re-enrolled. There are actions you can take if somebody is enrolled and they've been inactive for more than 7 days. So let me show you how easy that is. So I'm going to consider you inactive if you haven't visited the course for more than 7 days. And I'm going to add an automation action, which will be a custom notification. Are you still around? Dear @user first name. And then you say, I've noticed that you haven't come to the course for a while. If you need help, please get in touch. And those are the kind of things that are so nice to save time. You don't want to manually be tracking this stuff. It's just set up the rules, fire and forget. And you can do this throughout the course. So for example, when you enroll, we send them a can message, you are enrolled. And I'm going to add another one. I'm going to say, I want a custom notification. And I'm going to say, welcome @user first name. And then I can come into the editor. I can type in a welcome message. And I don't have time for it to show you, but you can actually record a video directly from inside our platform and embed it into the notification, which says, hey, this is Graham Glass. It's so nice to have you in the course. Let's have some fun together. But maybe I don't want to send that welcome right away because that seems a bit robotic. So I'm going to say send to the user after 1 hour. So now they enroll in the course, and 1 hour later, out of the blue, hey, it's great to see you in the course. It feels a bit more natural, a bit more, like someone's really taking care of you. And notice that a lot of these automation actions, you can apply them retroactively. So there's 5 people who have already enrolled. And by checking that box, I'm not going to leave those people out. So I've shown you just a whole bunch of things that you can do. There's a lot more. You do better in a quiz, more than 80%. Here are some actions, just as a simple example. Or for another example, let's just say I've designed this course to have a whole bunch of skills. So in this course, these are all the skills that you are going to be taught by the course. So we're very aligned with skills and mastery. You can track the mastery level of all the students in the course. But when you have rules here, this is automation. So I can add a new rule which says, if somebody is falling behind in a particular skill for more than 4 days, automatically get in touch with them and recommend some stuff. So let me show you what it's like to take this course then as a learner. So I'm going to log in as Tony here. So this is Tony. I'm logging in as this user. And then I'm going to go into this particular course, gamification, gamified e-learning courses. There we go. So this is the learner view of the course. A few other things I just want to point out in passing. We've got a real-time activity feed. So if you enable this, you can actually see what other people are doing in the course, anonymized, which is a really nice way to get a sense for activity in the course. You can see your progress. Here's the e-learning game. And currently I've got 0 points. I'm not on the leaderboard. The leader is Arnold with 200 points. So I'm going to start the course. So this is a micro course. So it's all e-learning cards. What's gamification? We could put in quizzes and surveys and things, but I kept it nice and simple. I finish up this particular area here. Now, at this point, I've finished the module, and you'll notice here is automation kicking in. Congratulations, you were awarded 100 points. This happened because you completed the module, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I've got points on the leaderboard. If I can continue, so I'm just going to kind of click through the course. I've completed module 2. So you're going to get a pop-up with some more points, I think. Here we go. So I got 100 more points. But now I've got 200 points. I reached a level, and now I got a badge because I achieved level 1. So you can see now that as you proceed through the course, you're getting more and more stuff happening. And I'll just do one more module just to give you a feel for it. And when you get to the end of the course, automation would then award you your certificate of completion, which is fully customized with the name of the course and the name of the instructor, if there is one, and you and how you did, so forth. So as you can tell, it's really fun taking one of these courses. You get pop-ups, you get badges, you get points. If I come back here, you can see now that I'm actually in the lead now. I've got 300 points. I got 1 badge. And if I click here, I can even see exactly when I was awarded a certain level, when I got badges, when I get points. And this stuff really works. People really, really do engage more when things are gamified. Now, I want to reveal a secret to you now. So let me go back to the course. So when you were looking at this course, you may have been thinking, wow, that's cool, but how long did it take to build that kind of course? And how long did it take to set up all the automation rules? And how long did it take to set up the game and all this kind of stuff? The answer is 10 minutes. So what I did is I secretly built this course using our AI-powered course creation system in 10 minutes right before this particular webinar. Now, obviously, you don't have to do it using AI. You can set up all this gamification stuff, all the rules, all the skills by hand if you want to. So everything is up to you. But in this case, I built the whole thing. It took less than 10 minutes. And then I can always go back and augment it and edit any of the content. So I know that's not the main focus of the webinar, but I think it's quite nice to know that our AI system even will gamify things for you automatically. So this is kind of covering automation from the perspective of a course creator. But now I'd like to switch gears and look at automation from the viewpoint of an administrator. So usually the most common thing is setting up accounts and what happens when accounts get created. So inside of account creation area from an admin, there you have quite a lot of control. So the first thing is what happens when you add a new account. So in this particular case, I'm sending them a message. I'm saying, if you are an instructor, then I'm also going to add you to a particular social group. I'm going to give you some points because we support site-wide games. So as people get enrolled and they create courses, you can give them points and badges as well. And in this particular case, I'm also automatically enrolling everyone in a particular course. And what we have found ourselves, because we use CYPHER platform for our own employee onboarding, is that this is where we automate a lot of our onboarding. So we have a generalized Welcome to CYPHER Learning course for all employees. And then we've got Welcome to CYPHER Sales and Welcome to CYPHER Marketing, which is based on the organization that you are in. And it's all gamified and it's all automated through our automation system. So you can say, I am going to automatically enroll you into a particular course. And I'm just picking one at random, but this would normally be Welcome to CYPHER Learning. And then I can say, you're going to go into this course only if your organization is, it could be sales or marketing, or in this case, brand design. So it's really easy to set up onboarding paths. It's easy to set up site-wide games to give people points and badges when they onboard. You can also even set up actions that happen when you log in. So we've got login actions here. We can also set up automation for e-commerce. So for example, this is the e-commerce area. And I can say abandon cart actions. So, for people who sell courses for money, then this is really handy. So I can say, hey, if you're in the middle of a shopping cart, for some reason you don't check out, then after 1 hour, automatically follow up with that particular user. You can also set up automation actions for e-commerce for what happens if somebody buys a particular course. So this gamified e-commerce thing, I'm going to come to e-commerce and I'm going to try and sell it. So I'm going to say this is going to be $29.95. And then you can say, and when you buy the course, here's what I want you to do. So I want you to automatically enroll you in the course when you buy it. And you might go, why wouldn't you automatically want to enroll them? There's really good reasons. So let's just say, for example, someone buys 10 courses and each course is only, once you're enrolled in it, you have 2 weeks to finish the course. I don't want to be enrolled in all 10 courses at the same time. There's no way I can finish it. So it's completely up to you whether you have auto enroll or not. And I can even say at the end of the course, when you complete it, you get a 30% off coupon for the next course in the sequence. So those are a few examples. If you are doing skills development, so one of the powerful things in our platform is you can add goals, like I want to get really good at a certain skill or all the skills associated with a certain job title. And if you complete mastery of all of those skills, you can then trigger automations like, hey, you got all the skills necessary for that particular job. Congratulations. We'll make a big fuss about it at our next town hall meeting, as an example. So here are ones where skills and automation are also being integrated with each other. You can also set up site-wide automations. So you might want to say, if any user completes any course, I want a certain action to occur. So what I showed you earlier was per course automation. So different course designers can automate their courses differently. An administrator can also set up site-wide automations. So if any course is completed, this is what I want to occur. Or if anyone enrolls into a course, this is what I want to occur. Or if anybody completes a module. So you get the general idea. This is a really nice high-level automation that administrators can set up that will layer on top of the automations that are per course. A few other ones I want to showcase. I mentioned that we're really serious about social learning, social networking, that kind of stuff. So you'll notice that in my dashboard, courses are a first-class entity, as you might expect in a learning platform. Groups are also a first-class entity. And there's quite a few platforms out there that do not have groups as a top-level entity. So here's advanced designers. And our groups are really powerful. Every group has its own customizable dashboard, its own set of widgets, its own news feed, a set of members, people who are assisting with the group. And you might want to automate things in a group. So I can say admin membership. So I can say when somebody is added to a group, perform the following operations. When somebody is removed from a group, perform the certain automations. And you can also even set up automatic membership rules. And you can say anyone who's in the sales team is automatically added into this group with no additional work. And that is a major time saver and allows, for example, a head of department to set up a group for all the salespeople or all the marketing people without having to tediously synchronize those things and invite people. It's 100% automatic. So I think at that point, we have covered a lot of stuff about automation. For group membership, courses, building amazing, engaging courses, as an administrator, setting up all kinds of really useful time-saving automations. So at this point, I'm going to take a look at the chat and see if there are any questions that anyone has asked.
Yeah, we have 3 questions in the Q&A for you.
Oh, okay, great. Let me have a look at Q&A.
Yeah, so the first one is for compliance purposes, we
yes.
need
Okay.
PDF certificates to be downloaded by both the user and the instructor for the course. Where can I customize the certificate of completion itself so necessary details can be added, such as
Absolutely. So the way that you can do that is when you build a course, when you build a certificate, you just go to the resources library and say add a certificate. Then you can fill in all the information about certificate, and then you can create a form fillable PDF. So the standard for certificates completion is a PDF with all the various fields carved out. So any PDF editor can do this. And we give you like 30 or 40 different fields that you can put anywhere in, like the first name, the last name, the name of the course, when it was completed, your organization. You just put those things in. And when somebody gets completed, then we fill in all the fields and it gets mailed to them. You can also set up a notification that goes to somebody else, like their manager, for example. And we also provide bulk download. So if you're an instructor and you're running a big course, you can actually download all the certificates pre-built so you can hand them out in a class. So we try to take instructor-led training into account as well. So there's a tremendous number of things that you can do. Because it's a PDF, it's fully brandable, so you can put your own graphics, your own nomenclature, whatever you like. If you find anything missing, then please let us know. These are relatively quick things for us to add, but it is a pretty flexible system. Let's see, another one, auto-enrollment relies entirely on groups. I'm just trying to understand, is this, so, I mean, the first answer is no, it doesn't rely entirely on groups. I'm assuming that you're talking about auto-enrolling for courses. So you can use automation anywhere in our system to automatically enroll people into courses. So you can say, when they're added as an account into the system, based on their organization, put them into a course. You can say when you complete a course, you're automatically enrolled into another course. If you're using a people picker for manual, then you can enroll people based on a course that they've, another course, a group, based on their organization, based on their account type. So there are a lot of different ways that you can auto-enroll. It's not limited to groups. Even based on tags, like are they tagged with a certain thing, if they're in a certain organization, if they're in a group. So I think that addresses the first part. Another one is pacing best and time spent. So when anyone started in the last 60 days, hang on, old high dates cannot use for rules, any automation. It's a little bit complicated to figure it out on the fly there. So I have to give that one a little thought because it's quite a complicated question. And then if you've set up auto enrollment incorrectly, so you can always change your automation rules whenever you like. And you know, the previous ones, if they're already in the course, there's no way to unenroll them automatically, as far as I know. But you can certainly fix your auto enrollment rules so that they work properly in the meantime. And is there any way to check automation working correctly? So, you know, the best way to do that is to create a dummy course and run it all. And then if everything looks like it's working well, then apply the same automation rule to the actual course. And, you know, customers can set up sandboxes where they try all this stuff out, not even on their live site, on a separate sandbox site. So that might be a useful one for you. Can you use AI to gamify an existing course? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. I'm just checking one thing here. I'm actually going to try it right now. I'm pretty sure you can, though. Let me have a quick look. So the answer is yes. So if you have an existing course, even if it wasn't built using AI, you can go into the course, click the floating agent button, say add a game, and it will automatically gamify your course and add gamification rules. And we only add default gamification rules. So we typically when you complete a course, when you create the game, add automation rules after every module. But then you can go in and spice it up or remove rules or edit rules. So there's nothing that the AI does that you cannot undo or modify. So I hope I did a reasonable job of those questions. So one of them was particularly complicated, so I have to think about it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for addressing those, Graham. And to everybody on the call, we do have some Storylane demo walkthroughs of how you can use automation in different use cases. We will link to that on the CYPHER live page where we host these recordings. And as always, these recordings are going to be shared out to you as registrants, and we make them available on our CYPHER live page and our YouTube page.
And I just want to say a sincere thank you for everyone who attended or anyone who might be watching non-live later on. I do want to say that to the best of my knowledge, we have the most flexible automation platform of any learning platform. And I've looked at a lot. And one of the nice things about our architecture is it's quite easy and quick to extend. So if you find yourself thinking, I wish there was a way to specify an automation action when X happened, or I wish there was an automation action that did Y, then please let us know. It took quite a lot of time to build out the automation platform, took a lot of thought to sprinkle it so many areas in our system, but we were always looking for good ideas about additional hooks and additional actions. And with that, I will say adieu.
Thank you, everybody. The next Cypher Live will be on assessment, so watch out for your invite for that. And we have a pro tip session next week on preparing for AI and your AI roadmap and maturity. So we hope to see you there. Thank you so much, Graham, and thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you, Caitlin. Take care, guys. Bye.